All right, today we're working with section 1.3, and today we're working with the midpoint. So first of all, formal definition, midpoint. Exact middle of a segment. The midpoint bisects the segment, and that means it cuts it into two congruent or equal parts. So we have two different ways that we work with this, the number line and the coordinate plane. So we start with the number line, and the number line uses this equation right here, a plus b divided by 2. So I know that people look at the number line, and then they they think that, okay, I'm just going to plot it, I'm going to count the middle and go from there. Well, you realize there are some big numbers. You may not want to graph it. So let's just try to memorize this equation, a plus b divided by 2. Then we also want to use the coordinate plane. We're going to have some numbers on the coordinate plane. So you have the ordered pair. This is the midpoint equals, so we're going to use this equation, x plus x divided by 2 and y plus y divided by 2. Now we go straight into examples. So we start with some easier ones using the general idea here. Find the midpoint between negative 12 and 16. Now again, you're not going to plot that on a number line. That's going to take you too long. Probably not going to work out as easily as you want. So it's just simple, negative 12 plus 16 divided by 2. Negative 12 plus 16 is 4. 4 divided by 2, final answer is 2. Now let's go to part B here. Part B is on the coordinate plane. So again, we want the midpoint. The midpoint equals 8 plus a negative 14 divided by 2. Again, this is going to be an ordered pair. And then we go negative 6 plus 12 divided by 2. Now, obviously, we simplify. 8 plus a negative 14 is negative 6 divided by 2. Again, parentheses here. Negative 6 plus 12 divided by 2 is 6 divided by 2. And the final answer here, when we simplify, is negative 3 comma 3. So that's the midpoint on a coordinate plane. Try two more of those. Try those on your own if you can. Then we want to find the midpoint between 7 and 14. 7 plus 14 divided by 2. 21 divided by 2. Yes, you can get decimals. In this case, final answer is 10.5. 10.5. Last example on this slide is going to be, again, a coordinate plane. You can see the two ordered pairs. So that means an answer will be an ordered pair. So the midpoint is going to be 3 plus a negative 2 divided by 2. Again, these are in parentheses. Negative 5 plus 4 divided by 2. So 3 plus a negative 2 is going to give us a 1 divided by 2. We're going to leave that as simply 1/2. And then the second part here, negative 5 plus 4 is negative 1 divided by 2. Final answer, the ordered pair 1/2, comma negative 1/2. Yes, you're allowed fractions and decimals. So the next slide here is now we're going to work through the equation, because in this case it says find the coordinates of x if y is the midpoint of xz and z has the coordinates. So I like to do a quick little sketch here. I know we could graph this on the coordinate plane, but I want to do a quick little visual. So we have a line xz. So we have a line xz, just a rough line. Okay? It says y is the midpoint. So y is directly in the middle. So they're giving us y, and they're giving us z. So ultimately, what do we want to find? We want to find an endpoint. So in this case here, we don't want to find the midpoint. We want to find an endpoint. So that's a little different than working backwards through the equation than what we did on the previous example. So recall the equation. So we have the midpoint, which is an ordered pair xy from the other page, equals your endpoints. So x plus x divided by 2 and y plus y divided by 2. So that's how we're going to start. Let me make this as a 2 instead of a z. And then we're going to work backwards through the equation. So again, in this case, they give us the midpoint. So that was what we have for y. Y is the midpoint. That's the middle. So we go up here and we get that y is negative 2 comma 2. Now they give us one endpoint. They give us one endpoint. So we're going to take one of the x values, put it here, and we're going to take the y value and put it for wherever one of the y's is. So again, it doesn't matter which one you pick. We're going to solve for one of them. for the x's. So if we go 2 plus x divided by 2, okay, that's our x's. And then we're going to go 8 plus y divided by 2. So now what we have here, folks, is now we've worked with the equation. We've set it up so we can now work with this. But now we have to solve for x and y. We have to solve for these values right here, x and y. In order to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to break this into two separate problems right here. Break this into two separate problems. So we're going to just bring this section down. So negative 2 equals, then we're going to bring the x down because it's first. This is first. This is first in our ordered pairs. So those are your x values. So we're going to go 2 plus x divided by 2. A lot of 2's in this problem. So now we're going to solve this. Well, let's actually break the other section down. So that's how we're going to solve that for x's. So what's left? So we have this right here. This 2 equals all of this stuff right here. So that's going to come over here. Equals 8 plus y divided by 2. So as I said, we created two separate math problems because we're going to solve for two separate variables. So hopefully you're able to see where we got that information from. Now we're solving algebra problems. I know they're not always easy. So over here we have a fraction. So we want to eliminate that 2. So we're going to multiply everything by 2. So these cancel. We have 2 plus x equals 2 times negative 2, negative 4. We want to get x by itself. We subtract over. We get x is negative 6. That's the value there. Over here again, we have a 2 in the denominator. We need to get rid of that. These will cancel there. We have 8 plus y over here equals 4. Subtract the 8 over, and we have y equals a negative 4. And then remember, we have ordered pairs. These two we put together, negative 6, negative 4. That is your final answer. And remember, that is the end point. That is they gave us the midpoint, so that is an end point. All right, let's try another one. Find the coordinates of D if E is the midpoint. So again, if you want just a rough sketch, find the coordinates of D if E is the midpoint of DF. So if we have a D, we have an F, and it says E is in the middle. So they give us E, and they want you to find D. So that means they also give us F. So they give you a midpoint, they give you an endpoint, and we need to find the endpoint. So we're using the same equation we did on the previous sheet. So they give you the midpoint. So let's find the coordinates of D if E is the midpoint. So this is the midpoint. This goes by itself, negative 6, 4. Okay? This right here is coordinates. So you have the original equation. This is your endpoint. You have x plus x divided by 2. We have y plus y divided by 2. Okay, so that's our equation we're working with. This is the midpoint here. So you just plug in negative 5 plus x divided by 2 and negative 3 plus y divided by 2. So now we're at the point, hopefully you saw where we get those from, where we now separate these to two separate problems. I just put a line right through here. This right here is an x, first value, negative 6, equals negative 5 plus x divided by 2. That's going to help us to solve for x. So over here now we want to solve for y. We get 4 equals negative 3 plus y divided by 2. Hopefully you saw where we got those from. And now we will do some algebra to get through these. So what we're going to do first here is we're going to multiply by 2. Multiply both sides by 2. Those cancel. Negative 5 plus x over here. Negative 12 over here. Multiply by 2 here. Multiply by 2 here. I guess I should have solved that. We have 8 equals negative 3 plus y because these cancel out. Yes, we should be solving both of these. Plus 3. Y equals 11 right here. Over here, you add the 5 to both sides. We have x equals negative 7. Again, write this as an ordered pair. Negative 7, 11. All right, hopefully that helps. Appreciate the time and effort that we put in. There's another example if you want to take a look and try. You want to work on that when you end up with the ordered pairs 0, 0. Thank you.